Coach, Dayton this week, or Friday. Talk about their personnel and how we match up against them.
Well, the personnel is phenomenal. Their scheme's really good. They're the best defensive team in our league. So it'll be scoring will be tough sledding against them. Scoochie Smith's obviously somebody that's been there a long time and won a lot of games for them and is, front line guard in our league. Pollard, the big kid down low, does a tremendous job. Cook is phenomenal wings. I mean, they've got a little bit of everything. Davis, I mean, they're good on ball defender and that sort of thing. So I mean, they've got really good personnel and they're very, very good defensively, and that's why they're in first place in the league right now.
Was LaSalle as complete a game as this team is? I don't want to say capable of playing, but as complete a game on either end?
That and the George Washington game, those are the only two games all year we've gotten all 5 of our game goals. So when we do that, it's pretty good. So, I mean, we only turned the ball over 10 times. We grabbed 45% of our misses, which is really good. We mauled them in the paint, and we got a ton of stops. So that's a pretty good formula.
What are your 5 game goals?
You're like Paul, David.
It's an actual question since you brought them up.
We have 5 game goals, and we call them our standards, and you have to get 3 of the 5 every game. So if we win and don't get 3 of the 5, then we run for what we didn't get. And if we lose and we get 3 of the 5, which it's impossible to lose if you get 3 of the 5, then I wouldn't run our guys. But you can't lose if you get 3 of the 5.
So you've hit 5 of them
twice.
How many times have you hit 4?
1 or 2 other times. Now, you can win if you hit. I mean, there's one of them that if you hit it, we were 21-4 last year, just on 1. So you can win it with 1 or 2, but you're living dangerously. I believe to beat the best teams on our schedule, you need to get 4 or 5. And, LaSalle's certainly one of the better teams on our schedule. We got 5, and we'll need 4 or 5 on Friday. If we don't get 4 or 5 on Friday, won't win.
Coach, you a believer in momentum carrying it over from Sunday?
Every game's kind of different. I mean, that game Sunday could have gone different if they hit a couple more 3. I mean, every game's different challenge. We've got this, kind of modified bye week here, so it's not like we just turned around and played immediately. Not like we're playing tomorrow. So, I don't know if Sunday will have anything to do with Friday.
Coach, each game is important in the Atlantic 10, but every year, VCU and Dayton, it's always a big matchup just because it determines most of the time who's going to be at the top of the league. Have you put that importance on this game with your team, understanding that this
they're all important for us now.
Right.
We've given away our mulligans, so we ain't got many more mulligans left. So, I mean, it doesn't matter who we're playing. They're extremely important, and we can't keep giving away games. But there's certainly a big difference between being 6-2 and being 5-3. There would be a big difference in that.
You talk about mulligans. You mean in terms of
losses in conference?
Or are you talking about just finishing first as the top seed in the conference tournament? Or are you talking?
I'm talking about winning the league.
Yeah.
Winning the league. I mean, if we win the league regular season, we'll get in the tournament. So I'm focused on winning the league regular season, and then we'll worry about all that other stuff later on. I mean, that stuff changes all the time. I mean, everybody that's on that bubble, and we're one of the teams, I'm sure, that'll be on the bubble, we all got major warts. So we're pretty much at their mercy on what they want to do. So we can focus on winning the league, and if you have a league regular season championship, last year we had 3 of us that tied for the league title. But before that, and Bonaventure should have gotten in, but didn't. But before that, every team that had won the league for like 10 or 12 years had gotten in, either as an at-large or won, whatever it may be. So that's our focus.
What's your focus? It's not a full bye week, is it? Modified bye week? What are
try to do?
We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, what do you try to do?
So we'll work on ourselves today, and then, we'll start our 2-day prep for Dayton Wednesday and Thursday, just our normal prep. So we'll work on ourselves this afternoon for a little bit, and we used yesterday to rest quite a bit, and we'll go from there.
When you say work on ourselves, how is that different than a normal standard prep practice?
Well, typically we're playing Wednesday, Saturday, so after the game, Wednesday, Thursday, we review the game, we correct mistakes, we introduce the next team, we walk through their stuff, and then Friday we'll practice a little bit, and you play Saturday. All our stuff's based on 2-day prep. So our whole routine is based on 2 days of preparation. So whenever we have a third day, like we'll have a third day after this game too, because we'll take off Saturday, and then we can work on ourselves on Sunday.
In your opinion, is the exposure from a Friday game or regular Friday games for the league?
It's very
or
good.
The disruption in your regular schedule and keeping
It's good, and I think we've got 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
I think our game with Richmond's on a Friday, maybe, not the one at
Right.
U of R, I think, and we may have one. Maybe our Rhode Island game's on a Friday or Saturday.
Saturday.
Is it-
I think you have these two. This one.
Yeah,
and the
we
one-
played in a couple last year. We had Davidson and Richmond at home, maybe on them. I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. It's good exposure for our program. It's good exposure for the league. So I think it's overall a net positive.
As someone who appreciates analytics and such, were you encouraged by the fact that the NCAA invited Ken Pomeroy and some other?
Oh, you didn't hear my answer on this already?
No, I haven't. Well, I should have been here earlier.
No, I think I just said I don't. They got to know what they're getting into, because it's going to be harder to scheme everything, and a lot of those formulas. And I've talked about Ken Palms in particular because I'm most familiar with his stuff. But, his stuff takes into account margin of victory. So when you start taking into account margin of victory, you're going to leave your starters in longer. You risk, the NCAA now, they're trying to get like the NBA. That's why they've moved that restricted arc out, all that stuff. They don't want collisions with their best players at the rim. Well, now you're going to start leaving your best players in more if you're on a bubble team to try to run the numbers up. That's the only way you can move up in Ken Palm. I mean, not the only way, but one of the easiest ways to move up is to outperform his prediction. If he says you're going to win by 8 and you win by 28, then you can move up. If he says you're going to win by 8 and you win by 6, you can move down. So, you're going to, you got to have coaches having to play their better players. You risk injury. There's a lot of other stuff that goes along with that. I think they need to come up with, whatever they do, they need to let everybody know what it's going to be, and then everybody can figure it out from there. But I kind of like the RPI.
It was interesting.
Here.
I talked to Pomeroy yesterday, and he doesn't think they should use his because he concedes his is more predictive, and he thinks they should use a more results resume driven ranking, say like the KPI.
Yeah.
Sounds like you might agree.
Yeah, you can't use predictive models.
Yeah. And that's what the BPI is, and that's what Sagarin is, and that's what Ken Palm is.
Exactly. There's a new model. There's some new stuff out there that's pretty good. Takes into account momentum and some other things. And so it gets real tricky when you get into all that stuff. People complain about the RPI, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Be interesting to see what they do.
Coach, students will be camping out this week for the game. Your thoughts on, the intensity of our fans, and is there an event that you would camp out for?
Yeah, in a motorhome. Motorhome with a generator. Our fans are great. I know Friday night will be a phenomenal environment. I think that's part of what, to your question, is made Dayton game so exciting. They've got a very passionate fan base. I mean, when we went there last year, that was as good an atmosphere as I've been in college. I mean, that's including, you know, the ACC, all sorts of places. I mean, you couldn't hear yourself talking there. So I know it'll be that way here on Friday, and we appreciate our students and appreciate everybody's support. And that's an exciting part about being a part of the VCU family and the basketball family here.
Do you think if you have a moment on Thursday, you might stop by to Wade's World? That's what they're calling it.
What are they calling it?
Wade's World.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'll probably stop by and see them. Yeah, I'll stop by and see them for sure. They're going to sit out there in that cold weather. At least I can do stop by and see them, right?
Well, we're getting your thoughts on matters. I don't know if you saw this before you come in. The NCAA is going to release the top 16 seeds on February 11th, kind of like the college football playoff rankings. Any thoughts on?
I like it. I wish they, you know, the way they do the selection process, on like Thursday or Friday, they have like 32 of the teams, or 25 or 26 of the teams. I wish they released those so you would know, you know, kind of what the deal is. But I think the more transparent they can be, the better. So I think that's a positive. What are they doing it?
So they're going to release the 16 seeds as it is on February 11th.
The top 16.
Top 16.
Yeah,
They do for football.
I mean-
top 4 seeds.
And bracketed by region.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Don't expect to see your name up there, huh?
No, we won't be on that.
Are you a coach that's ever been in favor of expanding the tournament? 96 teams, or, you know, some.
Kind of like it where it is now. I think 68 is pretty good number. You don't want to dilute it too much.
Well,
I mean,
coaches-
heck, if you start looking at, I mean, I understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we got to get to the tournament. I understand all that, but I mean, start looking at, you know, start doing some comparisons with some of the teams we're up against. Maybe, I mean, we all got major problems. I mean, all of us got bad losses. All of us got a good winner too. I mean, you know, it's you start getting to 90. What'd you say? 96?
120 some.
Whatever. I mean, golly, you're gonna have. I mean, you know, it's a lot of folks.
Tournament would start on February 14th or something
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, there'll always be people that are disappointed. Maybe us this year. I don't know. But I mean, fact of the matter is, there's always more you could do if you didn't get in. Those people who don't get in, there's always something else you could have done. Like if we don't get in, we've lost 2 games in overtime. We should have won those games. Period, point blank. Should have won at Fordham, should have beaten Georgia Tech at home. If we did that, we'd probably have a lot better case. So, no need to complain. We had our chances and we didn't get it done, or we had our chances and we got it done and we won some games. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
In that regard, do you find yourself smiling when a Georgia Tech beats a Carolina?
That helps. That helps. I'm friends with Josh anyway, so I root for Georgia Tech. We're good friends. I root for Georgia Tech. I root for Georgia Tech anyway.
Just happens to be convenient to Georgia Tech.
If Josh was the coach of Georgia Tech, we wouldn't have played Georgia Tech when we scheduled it, but that's the way it goes. Yes, Paul.
There are rumblings across the land about the fifth-year transfer, and there are coaches who, like Tony Bennett said yesterday, he thought it should be, or he thought it was going to be, if you transfer, you sit out a year, no matter what. It takes 2 years to get a master's degree, so you sit out the first year, then play the second year. And there are coaches who seem unhappy with it. There are coaches who hesitant to redshirt. You've had success with it. Do you like it the way it is? Do you
Like it the way it is. Don't change it.
Do you understand why those other people would be upset with it?
Yeah?
Want to elaborate?
Well, on what?
I don't know, I just need you to elaborate.
He needs a better quote than yeah.
Why do you like it? On why I like it?
Sure, start there.
I mean, I knew you always have something. It's good. I mean,
Corey last year,
yeah, we don't go to the tournament without Corey last year.
But it didn't just help you. If you talk to him, he'll tell you that he came in here and he learned time management. He learned.
Yeah, we helped him out a lot too.
He learned everything.
We helped him out. Yeah, it was beneficial for him. It was beneficial for us. I mean, if a kid graduates, they should. I mean, that's the whole point of college, right? Is to graduate. Now, listen. I mean, I could have been bitten by this. Mo and Burgess both could have left for fifth. I mean, you know, they were both eligible this past year to leave for fifth years somewhere else. I mean, but I think if you run a good program and you got a good culture and you graduate the kids are going to want to stay there and play for you. And if you don't, they may want to leave. I mean, the reality is it doesn't affect those top tier schools. They're not getting fifth year transfers. The way for a team like us to stay competitive is I mean, I'll tell you guys right now, I got a scholarship open. I'm going to be active in the fifth year market this year. We're going to find us one. I mean, we need one. We're going to be. I mean, the way a team like us can stay competitive is we need to be old. And sometimes, you know, I mean, we went through the coaching chain. I mean, there's, you know, we've got. I mean, you got to stay old, and so we need. I mean, we're gonna try to go find another Bilberry next, you know, at the end of the year. I don't know where he is right now, but you know, we're gonna find one when they start popping open. But those elite schools don't need that. They can just reload with, you know, with freshmen and really good freshmen. We can't get our hands on some of those kids, so you know, we've got to do it a different way. And I know some of maybe the, you know, basketball elites don't like it or that sort of thing, but I mean, you know, we can't pick off the same trees that they're picking off of. I mean, we don't pick off the same shelves some of those guys pick off of. So we've got to come up with different ways to do things, and transfers and junior college kids and you know, that sort of thing is what you have to do.
There seems to be some discomfort with the idea that this is now a second recruiting season, that a lot of coaches are.
Yeah, I'm young, I'm energetic, I love it. I love the thrill of the chase. I can't wait till we get 3 or 4 fifth years that we like and go do some home visits and see who wants to come. I think it's great. I don't take vacations. I don't have time for that. I mean, this is great. It doesn't bother me a bit.
You need to take some downtime.
I'm just saying. I'm looking for. I mean, you know, I went recruiting last night. That's part of the deal. Talent acquisition. I mean, that's how you become a good coach.
And isn't this the way it should be, though? Because, you know, kids, for the most part, they can't.
I'm telling you, I'll tell you this, Paul. I'll say this on the record for you, for everybody in the room. There's a better chance that they let everybody transfer without ever having to sit out a year than they do of making the fifth years have to sit a year before they play a year. There's a better chance that they open up the whole transfer market where you can go anytime, one-time transfer, just like you can in any other sport, by the way. Just about all the other sports have a one-time transfer exception.
There are a few exceptions, but yeah.
Most all of them do. Football and basketball are 2 of the exceptions, I think.
Ice hockey.
Ice hockey, maybe, yeah. But all the rest of them, you got a one-time. There's a better chance that basketball goes to that one-time exception where everybody gets one transfer than there is that they're going to make graduate transfers. How can you make a kid who the whole point is to go to college and graduate, and he graduates and he wants to go do something else? How can you make him? How can you tell him you've done your job, you've done what you're supposed to do, and now we're going to regulate all that sort of stuff?